welcome back to another episode of The Missing Link, brought to you by Link. Today we got a special guest. We got the brothers from Moody Blue Designs, Blake and Barett. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good. Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter. Yeah, good to see you, Anthony.
Good to see you. Glad we were able to reschedule and get you back on here.
Yeah, busy times call for that sometimes, right?
Yes.
On the late night. But it wasn't as late, so we're good.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, we've all been there. It's nature of the business.
Yes, sir. Hey, but we love it anyways. We wouldn't change it for the world, would we?
Exactly.
Yeah. So real quick, if someone wanted to find Moody Blue Designs or you guys on social media, where can we find you?
Facebook, Instagram. Also, our website's probably the best place. It's got, everything, our address, emails. It's got a contact form. If someone's looking for a job, they can go in there and actually fill out what they're looking to do with photos and everything, and it comes directly to our emails. So that's a great way for people just to get in front of us and say, hey, I've got something that I want done, or versus if you just like to follow our work, our Facebook page is always constantly being updated with new jobs that we're completing and fun stuff. And, we like to keep active on social media because I think that's a very important outlet.
Yeah, nice. It's a visual industry, and social media is a great place to showcase photos of work, and people want to see, they want to see. So having that for them to really to grasp is a huge thing. So social media is a great vehicle for us for that right there for sure.
Definitely. Before we get into the schedule questions, just kind of want to touch base. You guys are brothers. How is it working together?
Identical twins at that.
We butt heads a little bit, but for the most part, Blake spends his time in the office in his little design bay, and in the production room running the equipment. I spend most of my time in the shop doing installations, and
so we have our set goals. We can stay out of each other's faces and hair if we need to be.
Yeah, exactly. If I know that I know if something's going haywire in the print room, then I just need to get out of there and go back into the shop, right?
Yeah,
but it actually works out. We think alike, but we think differently in the same aspect too. So it helps bring two perspectives, but also in the same realm, because at one point we were one, so we do kind of still think alike in that sense. So it's nice to have that consistency, I guess.
Yeah, it's good balance. Very good balance.
Mm-hmm. Keeps things kind of, what I would say, seamless. It's a word we like to use in the industry a lot, right?
Yeah, I like the way you guys each have your roles. I have a brother, and I couldn't imagine working with him every day.
It's been a long road to get to where we are now, and I can tell you the first couple of years were a little harder than where we're at right now.
Yeah. Oh, especially when we were in a smaller shop.
Respect for each other.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, guys. You guys are doing well.
It gives us a new appreciation towards each other, because we've been brothers for 35 years, but we've never been business partners, and you got to figure things out differently sometimes, right?
Nice. All right, so getting to the questions: how and why? How'd you guys get into the industry, and why are you still here?
So we kind of fell into this industry, and I wouldn't really say accidentally, but I had been to school for graphic design and worked in sign shops, print shops, all sorts of stuff through school and out of school. Kind of found myself in a very boring job that sounded great on paper right out of school. And I just kind of wanted to get out of that. So I bought a little plotter and started selling like truck stickers, 4x4 stickers, and it was all custom made for people on a specific forum. And it was specific, like if they wanted their trucks have a name or something, we could make that and just mail it to them. They put it on, and that was that. And that led into a little bit more people asking if we could do bigger things than just stickers, and opened up some doors for wrapping. And at that point, Barett was selling mortgages, and he was kind of bored doing that. So I needed some help doing the stickers, the weeding, the masking, and all that fun stuff of making stickers. And so he started helping me, and that grew into
kind of manage his pipeline, because he didn't really know how to do that. And that's essentially what I was doing in the mortgage business. I just, I was more passionate about cars and things. And I saw it was easier for me to go sell stickers for a vehicle than it was for me to go sell financing for a home, because I just really didn't care much about that. Right. So, it just paid the bills at the end of the day. So then I kind of stumbled into it.
playing with other types of vinyl and learning things that we didn't know vinyl could do besides stickers.
Nice.
Here we are.
Yeah, here we are, still playing with stickers.
Well, like 9 years later, here we are.
Love it.
That's a really interesting, going from mortgages to selling stickers.
Yeah, hey, it's all sales though. You just find what you're more passionate about.
Nice. With that said, what advice would you give to somebody that wants to enter the industry?
So, from that being said, where we came in, we'll use the blindly, loosely there. You learn a little bit about the industry. Meet people, get some formal training. There's a lot more than just sticking stickers and just wrapping. And you got to really get your head around all of that too, because there is a business behind it and there's money to be made. Everybody wants to go wrap a car, throw it on Instagram and think they're the best and the only, but hey, there's plenty of work for all of us. Let's help each other, but also, learn how to do it first and come in and don't undercut people from your garage and, half-ass the work and then send it out and call yourself the best or rap God or whatever they all do these days, learn a little bit is all. That's what that's the advice I would definitely give.
Yeah, definitely learn and learn the industry too, because it's like he said, it's more than just changing the color of a car, because you could do that 4 cars, but that could be the last 4 cars, the only 4 cars you do. You gotta market yourself and be profitable, but you got to understand that there's lots of time involved in this and there is cost. And like you said, I think people do undercut just to try to get a job sometimes.
Yeah. It's a people industry too. You gotta know the people. One of the best things we ever did was just get ourselves in front of the industry, your big dogs, and just say, hey, we know we're nothing right now, but here we are, look at us, see us, and then from there, you build relationships, and, that's where you can really, proceed and move forward and succeed in the industry for real.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I'm glad you kind of mentioned learning, because that seems to be a recurring. Everyone I speak to is.
We've all seen it. We've fixed the bad. Believe me.
We've lived, we've learned, and we're still learning. And just like Justin Pate and all them always say, never stop learning. That's the Rap Institute's. That's their motto, and that's a huge thing.
And join that, new guys. For a new person coming in, join the Rap Institute. It was very beneficial for us not have going through hands-on training when we first started. We were just relying a lot on his techniques and just practicing. Well,
also in that realm, we didn't have anyone local that we could ask. We didn't have anyone that we could just go work with. We were the Moody Blue was the first color change wrap business in our area. There were sign shops and commercial graphics industry people, but it wasn't,
the focus was on the commercials.
Yeah, the focus was signs and things, so we didn't really have anyone we could ask those types of questions to really get moving ahead. So, having a resource like that with Justin Pate showing, just showing the ropes and, having other installers and their techniques, because, we didn't know. Right.
How long ago did you guys open your shop?
2016, June of 2016.
Nice.
And then we relocated.
That was our formal opening.
Yeah. Then we relocated to a nice
house.
New clean shop, fully climate controlled. We moved there 2018, and we're still there and expanding on that as we go.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, that's around the time when the training started becoming more prominent and different resources. So there's a lot more resources now compared to when you guys started.
Yeah, installers coming into the industry now have a world of knowledge right there at their fingertips. And, they've got a huge advantage that we didn't necessarily back then. And it's nice to see that there is so much growth and passion amongst so many people that are willing to help and teach and expand it to new people and others.
Definitely.
To share it, I guess.
Yeah, I still actually keep a Rap Institute membership myself. I mean,
we do as well. Sometimes you can pull it up. It's like, hey, I just got a question about this, and I know there's a video on it. So
it's enjoyable to see, because there's new techniques always coming out
all the time. It's always being updated, and new films. Yeah, I love the fact that he even addresses, hey, this is a new film. We're gonna try it out, and you guys are gonna watch us do it, kind of thing. Because that's experimental. There's all these China films and stuff coming out, these calendared hybrid cast films, or, they don't have the same properties that 3M and Avery do, and they're not going to install the same way. And you can't go in blind not understanding that. And I think people do. They say, hey, I'm going to do my first car wrap. They got buy a roll of Vivid and have the worst experience of their life,
Mm-hmm.
Or you should have just bought the Avery or Cheetah wrap or something that's going to be, beginner friendly, and, you live and you learn. Right?
Learnable.
Yeah. And now we have the colored PPF coming out, which is completely different.
Ooh, that's some game changing stuff, but man,
we went to the Flexi Shield training,
right.
and it's a whole different beast.
Yes. Yep.
It's a whole different beast.
Yeah, I got the opportunity.
But it's very cool film, though. Very cool film.
Yeah, I got
that's where the industry's going, though. I feel like. Yeah. And Troy did say, hey, I was talking to him last night, mentioned that we were going to be on here today, and he said, hey, by the way, so.
Yeah, I'm going to get him on here sometime soon.
Nice.
He's a busy guy.
Yeah.
And the next couple weeks for me, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to film. So, but yeah, we'll definitely get him on. He's got a pretty wild shop there.
Yeah, we did our Flexi Shield up there at Capitol Wraps, and very huge production facility there. Very nice. Very
massive operation. He's got a really cool thing going over there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Along with advice that you would give somebody, what advice do you feel is going around that should be ignored?
This was one that kind of stumped us the other day. We were trying to think of some ideas of what we would think of, for advice. The one thing that kind of stuck out to me the most, I was thinking about it a little bit this morning. They always say when you go into business, the customer's always right. And for the most part, yes. I'd say 90% to 99% maybe. But in our industry, I think that the customers are just so uneducated for the most part about what wraps are that sometimes they don't even know what they want. And if you just agree and just do what they say, it's not going to be what they want because they don't know how to portray what they're looking for. We got these days people are visual. You can't call and then I try to explain something to you. Oh yeah, we could do this and that. And they're like, oh, what does that mean? I'm like, the best thing to do is to come down here. Let me educate you on what a wrap is and what you're getting. Because, funny story. We had a guy call a couple of years ago about getting a golf cart wrapped. And I think me and him may have been on two completely different pages of what he wanted, because when I gave him a number, he freaked out and he said, that's how much it is to get my golf cart shrink wrapped. And I was like, are you trying to ship this thing or make it look cool? Because if you're trying to wrap it in like bubble wrap or shrink wrap, I think we're on a completely different page of what I'm trying to do to your golf cart. So that's kind of my thought on it. I don't think it's
and what you're saying about that with the customer being always right, has always been the saying. In a commercial wrap sense, they say, hey, I want all these bullet points and I want this and that and this and that and this and that. And you're like, whoa, back up. They give you this list of what they want and you gotta coach them. You gotta that's not what you want. Let me show you this. This is what you're going to get. And you show them, they're like, whoa, there's just so much going on. They can't wrap their mind around it. It's like, this is what you want. You give them a simpler, concise, quick, easy to read, big phone number, big logo. They're like, man, that looks awesome.
Put your website. There's going to be your information. If you want them to know who you are and what you do, put that piece of information. You don't need to have heating, cooling, plumbing, yada, yada, yada. It's like, that's just way too much to
listen.
I don't have time to read all that.
Know their needs, but they're not always right. That's
my advice.
Definitely.
And I wouldn't say that's industry advice. That's more of
you got to read your customer.
General business kind of thing there. That can go any way, I guess, really. Depends on who you are. We're a detail-oriented kind of thing, and we like our designs and our stuff to really, stand out and get noticed in a good way, and not someone be like, oh, wow, did you see that? See those trucks that belong to so-and-so? You can't even read all their information. That's, to me, that's the customer that just let the business just let his customer run it. He just said, okay, yes, and just sent it to a printer, slapped it on, and sent him out the door, probably never see him again.
Yep.
Yeah,
we
like to retain customers.
One of the things that I found that helps with customers that are kind of set, like, hey, I want all this, is I create a design exactly how they want, and then I do one that just kind of
give them an
people
option.
Respond to better, and 9 times out of 10 they go,
they're going to go.
I like that better.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's more readable that way. It's like, interesting.
Yeah, they'll realize like, hey, you actually know what you're doing. So
you want to get business or do you want to get ignored?
Also, another thing, I don't know if you guys have used it. I've been starting to use it, but the 3M VAS. So it's a visual advertisement simulator. It kind of shows like where your eyes are drawn.
Oh, cool. Okay. Interesting.
And like what order it's drawn to. So it puts a little bit of science behind the designs, and you can kind of really see.
That's cool.
Where your designs are actually being seen. It has a lot of cool features.
Shoot us a link to that when we get off of here. I'd like to check that out.
Yeah, definitely. All right. What are 1 to 3 things that differ in your role now compared to when you first entered the industry?
Oh yeah, this is a good one right here. I've stepped away from the things I don't enjoy doing, and I got to focus now on predominantly installations. I don't have to do QuickBooks. I don't have to make the phone calls. I don't have to follow up with the customers. I don't have to go outside and walk around their vehicle. And all I get to do is come in and stick my stickers and do my wraps, and the part of that I enjoy. It took us pretty much up until this year to get there, though. Mm-hmm. I've been wearing all those hats, for 5-6 years now, and we brought Ian on in, I believe, October or so.
He's last year.
Pretty much taken hold of all the operations. He does, all the sales. He follows up with customers, handles the emails, does the invoicing, takes the deposits, the shebang. And I just get to come in here, strap my tools on, listen to my music, and go to town.
Nice.
So what I wanted to do, when we started this business, that's what I wanted to do, is just rap. But then we learned there's a lot more to rapping than just rapping.
Yes.
If you want to be successful.
Absolutely. Our roles
in the same realm now. Blake now Blake gets to focus his time on designing production.
The actual
all the stuff
part of it.
Started. Yeah. All the stuff you wanted to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because otherwise it
has
would
to be done so that I can do my part.
We're both shuffling to do all those things while we're both shuffling to do the installs too. And we've got teams of installers that come in and help us on especially commercial stuff, which is great. Also, we've got a really good graphic designer that's been helping us, get some things together. She works remotely, and it's been a really good process of helping us grow. And now we're able to focus our energies where we want to, more so than where everything has to be, because it's running the way it needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can design and install like we wanted to be doing, and Moody Blue just runs itself in the background. As long as we're doing it the right way.
As long as we're staying on top of it, right?
Yeah, we still got to stay on top of it, but we don't have to baby it like we were.
Nice. Yeah, that's one of the things people don't realize. Like being a good installer, or graphic designer, and being a good business owner, 2 different skills.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Everyone wants to be a rapper, but they don't realize that there's a business too if you want to make money doing it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of business to it if you want to make money.
Yes, definitely.
That's the truth.
I'm still kind of in that point where it's 1 to 2 people at any time, and just trying to get all those systems in place to get where you guys are.
Yeah, it's a run, but it's one I would never look back and never regret and never undo. So
nice. With that said, how's a past failure or perceived failure set you up for success later in your career? And what steps did you take to turn that into a success?
One of the biggest things for us, we've just never had the right team. We've always brought people on that have worked with us, worked for us, but they've never been, driven enough or what it was to help us succeed where we want to. We'd try to push them into a position to help better them, to help better us, so we can all succeed together. And, everybody wants to make more money and, all that fun stuff. But we just always found ourselves with guys that would call in a lot or not show up. And then you'd have the guys that would do everything their way and not the right way. And, me and Barett are over here fixing jobs that we may not have even installed. And it's just like, now that's putting us behind, and that's a bad taste to somebody else, and I think just not having the right people.
Exactly.
I think
that was our biggest struggle. It was just
and it was back to just us two again,
Yeah, exactly. They didn't have the passion to do it right. They didn't care to take the time to clean it a little bit more. maybe to check your measurements one more time.
Maybe post heat.
Post heat. Maybe take off a little piece of plastic trim that's just clipped on there instead of trying to trim up against it and exposing some ugly yellow paint color underneath or something. Just little things like that. It's just details. Small details that Blake and I have always looked at. We've always meticulously looked at. I feel like, and that's where we've been able to be where we are now. And having the wrong team members, can definitely hinder that growth and hurt you. And in some sense, it probably has cost us customers, whether it be a past customer that didn't return to us for whatever reason, or a customer that chose to go somewhere else in the first place for whatever reason. I don't know. But those team members have definitely not just hurt the quality there, but also the attitude. We had a team member that just had a bad attitude all the time and just just complained and complained and complained, and just nothing was ever good enough. And it's just, you can't, it brought the whole morale down in the shop, and it just got to where it was just,
it didn't fit his standards. It wasn't
good enough all the time. And you can't work with tension. Things just go wrong, and then things get broken. And then things end up having to get redone or prolonged, and now you're missing deadlines, and then
everything's screwed in.
Nada. We just can't have it. You got to get that the right fit, and that's where I definitely have seen a perceived failure there. That cost us time more so than anything, time and growth. I think if we would have had the right team members from the beginning, could have made these steps a little bit sooner. But here in our geographical location, those people in this industry don't really exist because that industry hasn't really been here until about the recent when we came into it, really. And now they're popping up all over the place.
I have a funny.
It's because they ain't us.
I have a funny analogy about that because we'll have. You always get those needy customers. It's like, I gotta have this thing like now on the roads. Like, can you just get it done tomorrow? I'm like, hey, take a step back for a second. We can't. This is usually contractors. Trying to get things done. It's like, unlike you can go to Home Depot and find 4 to 5 qualified people to do probably anything on that job site. I don't have that luxury. That person is me. That person's me. So, and there's one of them right over here, wherever he's at, whichever side. And it's not like having a whole crew that can come and do that. And like we do have contractors that come in, but they're contractors. We still have to have a schedule set with them, and we can't just call them. Hey, I need a box truck done tomorrow. It's like maybe they could come next week, but we have to have that on their schedule as well.
Yeah.
Our contractors are scheduled with other shops. They're 2-3 weeks out, so we have to make sure that we're always 2-3 weeks ahead to have them in our shop. Just to make sure that they
can show up and there's a vehicle there and there's prints ready and they can just install.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah. Going back to something you said about attitudes, that's one of the things that John Duver has been big about. He always says higher on the attitude, not on the skills.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, he's right. Jeremy 100%. Connor and I had that conversation not long ago too. He was asking me to come help him do a personal project to wrap his personal truck. He's like, man, I got some help, but I don't want to call him because he always has a bad attitude and it puts me in a shit mood. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I was like,
we've been there.
Do my best, I was like, I'll do my best to get up there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. I got 2 young kids, so I had to stay back. But it's one of those things. We all see it, and it's you don't necessarily see it up front, and then true colors show down the road, and then all of a sudden now you're kind of stuck in a sense, and you don't ever want to find yourself in that because you put yourself in a moral position as well as a professional position, and that's where it gets sticky.
Yeah, and also the people that have good attitudes all the time, they're willing to learn.
Yeah,
absolutely. Another ones that get hurt at the end too is the ones that have the good attitudes and try to do the right. Then you got the ones with the bad that just come in, slide under, and just sneak in, take all the glory, and then the nice guys are the ones that take the beating at the end because that guy slimed it up or something.
Definitely.
Something like that.
Something along those lines.
We've seen it.
So what non-monetary investments, either personal or in business, that you have made that have set you up for success today?
The biggest thing we both agreed on that would be relationships.
Nice.
And I'm gonna go back to where I was just talking to Jeremy Connor on the phone, the other day. When we were starting, we were two guys in this old nasty little shop that had been a tire shop, an oil change shop, and block walls. It was cold,
no
it was
AC,
hot,
no heat. It was lovely.
And
the roof leaks.
And we're in there, and we're still reaching out to to these guys that are close to us.
Close enough,
2 hour, 2 hour drive. Is probably about the closest that we had at the time. But they took light of that. They noticed that when we were calling them and asking for questions, they didn't know that we were just two little guys in a dirty old shop. We're talking like we know what we're doing, asking them questions. But those
they were really helpful,
became, and that became all of a sudden now Jeremy Connor's calling me and asking me questions. Chris Bull's calling me. Justin Pace accepted my friend request on Facebook. It's like, what? What is all this? I got John Duber's phone number. What's all this? It's crazy. But it started just by putting ourselves in front of those people.
We go to the shows. We go to SEMA, and we go to the trainings, and we've got multiple certifications, and it's good to be with those people in front of those people because then they see the passion that we have as the same drive and ambition that they've always had, and it's just a good. It's a good place to be because there's other shops. There's one in town that he does really good work, but he's not in tune in the industry, and it's weird because why would
he does jam up work? He does phenomenal work, but he won't even come help us when we're shorthanded. He would never call us if he was shorthanded. He doesn't know Chris Bull. He doesn't know Jeremy Connor. Those are our localist network. He doesn't participate in RapsCon. He doesn't.
But why not?
Do any of that kind of stuff, and
because we work hand in hand with other local shops here, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a fair relationship. Sometimes you need
plenty of work for all of us.
You need something last minute, and if we can help somebody, and they may help us again or help us in the future if we need it. And it's we always
it goes back to the non-monetary. It takes $0 to pick this thing up right here. You know what I mean? $0. Call somebody. Just say, hey, what's up? You're driving. Man, I'm going to a job site. It's going to take me 45 minutes. Just, hey, what's up? I'm going to call somebody while I'm driving. It's better than just sitting, right? Just talk about nothing, Hey, man, I'm going to be in Charlotte in the next couple of weeks. Let's go get a beer. Let's get dinner, something, anything. Just became friends with the industry. And that was probably the biggest investment.
It's funny going back on that because – even Barett had to go down to Miami for a wedding, and first thing he does is text Hanier and some of the guys down there, and hey, you guys want to go out and have dinner while we're in town? We're in for a couple of days, and they actually made it happen. It's like they, those guys had nothing to do with the wedding and why Barett was there, but it was cool that he reached out to them and wanted to hang out.
No, it was great, man. We had a blast. But it's cool because we pretty much know somebody anywhere we go.
Mm-hmm.
We could go somewhere and just. Hey man, what's up? I'm in town. What you doing? Let's grab some drinks. Let me come see your shop. Something like that. Anything. And we've got people that come through here and they'll call us and hey man,
we're in town. We're coming through.
Let me stop in. They don't stop at our competitors' shops.
They stop in. We hang out for 30 minutes or an hour, and they hit the road and go to their place.
Yeah.
Or we put them.
Sometimes you're lucky and they walk in and you're like pulling chrome on a hood or something. You say, "Oh man, grab
a corner." I don't remember who that was, but thank you. Thank you whoever stopped through and helped us that time.
I forget who it was, but we had like 3 guys struggling on that right there. And they walked in and was like, grab that corner. We need you. Good stuff. That's why,
that's a good answer. That's kind of how I ended up here. It's like, this is something that I wanted to know. And I was like, this is good information to put out. I think
Absolutely.
Everyone would love to hear this and kind of get a step up on how to move forward in the industry.
Yeah. And there's surefire ways to do it, and knowing people and them knowing you is probably the most important thing that you can do.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, like at a local level, I never really understood it until, I go to RapsCon almost every year.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the certifications. That's how I ended up meeting Ian.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do put myself out there, but it wasn't until recently just kind of realizing, like, I'm a local shop, but knowing you guys, knowing everyone around, having resources that, like you said, you can call and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. You know how to help?
Yeah.
You know how I can do this? is definitely huge.
Oh yeah,
it's a great thing.
It's funny because you say you're just a local small shop. I feel the same way, but it makes you feel like such a bigger part of something when you have those connections and
these
those
networks.
people that want to answer your phone call, and they want to talk to you, and they want to give you advice, and they want to take your advice equally. It blew my mind the first time. I think it was Chris Bull called me and was asking advice about something. I was like, calling me? Like I've been looking up to you since before we started this thing. It's like, why are you calling little old me? But it's just cool, because now he and I are like this, and and our wives are like best friends, so we go to SEMA. It's a good time. Nice. We'll just leave it at that.
And then also, people don't realize, especially newer in the industry, how willing people are to help.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just ask for it. It's like, like was mentioning, we're going to talk names. The guy local here, he will never, ever, ever, ever lend a hand, and he will never, ever take a hand lent from someone else around here that he considers competition. And it's a sad motive to try to build. He's in all fairness, he's trying to be like a social media star. He's trying to be like a Paradox or like a what's his CK. He's trying to be one of those. He's got a ton of YouTube videos, but you're only pumping out 2-3 cars a month. Cool. One of them was a Lamborghini. That's awesome. Shit, we just did 3 cars last week. What's up? Don't matter how many videos you can make. Sometimes I feel like our social media is struggling, but then I look at the past couple of weeks where we weren't posting. It's like, well, damn. Okay,
we got a lot of pictures.
In all fairness, we're making money. We don't have to be posting. We
got to start posting, grabbing our phones and making Facebook posts.
Yeah, exactly. So
those got good pictures.
Yeah, right. Hey, I got the Android, so I got the best camera. Let's be honest.
Definitely, I really like that answer.
Yeah.
All right. What is something relatively small that you've included in your products or services that has made a significant impact?
We like, when it comes to color change stuff, we always like to do a fun little emboss, whether it be like our logo on the gas cap, or if the car has a name or they want to name the car, we may do something fun like that. And it's kind of like a little surprise, like a little Easter egg.
We may give it a nickname.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And it's always really cool. And they see that, they're walking around their car, and then they're like, "Oh my God, that is so cool! How did you do that?" And it's just like,
and we've done it too. We make like a signature or something, and we put it like on the dash. They get in the car, and then they see like they named it. Like we did a purple Camaro for a chick named Rainy, and we naturally called the car Purple Rain.
Purple Rain.
So, we put Purple Rain on the dash, and we embossed it under the headlight, and she was like, oh my gosh, that's the coolest thing in the world.
It's just the satisfaction on someone's face for just a little small gesture.
Little things, just the little things. Just this, I mentioned earlier, the eyes for the detail that we've always had. Those little tiny things, the rest of the world may not ever see that. So what? I don't care if anybody sees that. If that customer sees it and they're ecstatic about it, I don't care if anyone else even notices. That one little thing made that person's day. It made their whole world, maybe their whole universe. Who knows? And that to me, the smile on their face is worth more than any extra time or sticker could ever cost. Right?
Yeah.
Nice. Talking about putting the logo on the gas cap. Do you guys ever get any pushback from customers about that? As far as if you guys put your logo on there?
Typically it's don't ask, don't tell. It's a surprise.
We've had people kind of hint at stuff that they didn't want something like that, so we just use our better judgment.
Right, we use our judgment on that. But for the most part, if it's a cool car and they go to car shows and stuff like that, it's going to go on there for the most part.
Especially if it's a cool color that's going to get noticed. Like there's some times where it's a real, let's say it's a classy car. Like we just did kind of recently. We did a Range Rover. We did, I believe, Satin Nero, and it was just
basalt,
basalt, whatever was available,
the Avery version,
basically. But it's just real, silky smooth, luxury, real high end looking vehicle, and it's just real clean looking. So for that reason, I opted not to do one because it's just smooth and clean, and it looks like it could have rolled, could have rolled out of the factory like that.
Nice,
and and that's just you. Sometimes you just got to read the vehicle, read the customer. He's a real clean cut guy. I believe he's a dentist. So he's not the kind of guy that drives a purple truck like I do. So, you just got to read the customer, read the vehicle, and just kind of,
He does have some big rims on that thing, though, so you got some competition there.
Hey, we're all on 24s.
Keep them clean.
Actually, I made that mistake. I got some wheels for my truck, and they were on sale, so I was like, "I'll get the 20s instead of the 18s." Tires are so expensive.
Oh my god! Yeah,
it's never
about
again.
that.
Yeah, you don't think about that. You're like, man, that's gonna look good, and you're like, oh, damn. But it's all worth it in the end.
Looks cool.
We do it for the looks, right?
The price you pay.
It is.
Kind of alongside the last question, what's something relatively inexpensive, under $100, that has made a positive impact on your life or your business?
Barrett, you've probably got one sitting right beside you.
What's that?
Mag straps. We love those things. Those we put them on our heat guns, our torches. It sticks to the scaffolding, and it sticks to our shop walls because they're steel walls. Those, nice. You can get right there. You get those for probably like $20 or $30. There you go.
Yeah,
stick it right on the wall.
Torch is a little heavy for it right now, but we'll just leave that there. Shout out to Dan over there at Mag Straps. Thank you, sir, for your beautiful product. We couldn't live without them.
Nice.
Little things like that,
we love new tools.
And masking tape. We buy masking tape by the case on Amazon. Mm-hmm. It's cheap.
Knifeless tape.
It's like $100, and it goes, a whole case of it's like $100, and it goes forever. We use it for everything, for pre-paneling, for lowering surface energy, for hanging stuff on non-magnetic surfaces, hinging decals on a window, any
hardware like back, lining things up.
Yeah, exactly. And knifeless tape. Everybody knows knifeless tape's a godsend. No, we wouldn't know what to do without that stuff these days, right?
Now we buy that by the case. That's not under $100. But individual rolls do cost $30 or so.
Yeah, if you were to put it that way, and you were to say let's per se one roll of design line per vehicle wrap, right? Yeah, $30. Definitely would say that would fall in that category if you're looking at it on an individual basis, for sure.
Yeah, and I like you mentioned buying tape by the case.
We buy everything in bulk. We buy the Alpha blades, or what are they, Barrett? The NT cutter blades.
Oh, yeah, NT brand.
100 packs of those. We buy 3 or 4 of those at a time on Amazon and just keep them.
Case of tape.
Man, you get to that last blade and you still got a job to do, and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
Then you're digging through your tool bag to find other knives. And
scrambling through the stock cabinet over here looking for masking tape, and there's none. And, we don't
stuff that we learned over the years. And hey,
you also
buy bulk.
Buying in bulk too, because you save money too. I mean, if you're timing it per job, you're paying sales tax on each individual unit at that point. You're paying a higher price per unit at that point.
Yeah, we're probably paying $25 a roll of knifeless, a roll of design line, or less.
I think it's
less than that.
Oh,
well, we buy it in bulk. Yeah,
when we get it in bulk, we're almost close to half of its retail cost.
Nice,
which is awesome.
Yes, well, I have a secret supplier for that I can't shout out. So, sorry, guys.
Awesome. So the opposite of that, what about something expensive that makes a significant impact?
The lift.
I got a couple of those things. The lift
is probably the number one thing. We have a mid-rise. What's that thing go? Like 52 to 54 inches, holds 6,000 pounds. Inches. Oh my God, that is the best thing we've ever invested in.
Actually, I've always looked at them, and I never really took the time to get one. And then I hurt my back the other day, and then I had to hang a bumper.
Dude, we can stand and work on bumpers. It's amazing. We can get our chairs all the way up under there. It's great. That's probably my best thing that we've ever bought.
That and also, actually, I did it this morning when I got up here. I came in a little early this morning. The floor scrubber. I've got a walk behind floor scrubber. It's
call it the Zamboni.
Yeah, we call it the Zamboni. It's got a 24-inch scrubbing pad. It's got I believe it's a 14-gallon solution. No, it's 11-gallon solution tank with a 14-gallon waste holding tank. I always keep it loaded with stuff. We had a lot of bad rain on Friday, and we had to pull a vehicle in here, and it just gets the floors dirty, nasty. muddy.
We don't want to lay on that.
Let it sit. Yeah. It got all dry. I came in early this morning and I ran that thing. Took me about 15 minutes to clean that bay. Boom, spick and span. Now I can go lay on the floor in my polo shirt and not get dirty. Got my good jeans on, my good shoes. Because there's jobs that don't go on the lift, and you do lay on the floor. It's just part of what we do. And I'm gonna be a little bougie now that we've got this far. If I'm gonna lay on the floor, it's gonna be a damn clean floor, right?
Exactly.
I hear you.
Exactly.
We laid on dirty floors for long enough,
Plus, with that also, we've had customers come in and say, "Wow, this is a really clean shop," and that makes you feel good. Because that to them it shows that we're going to do a good job. Because if we care about the environment that we're spending this time in doing this job, of course we're going to care about your vehicle and how it looks leaving.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And everybody knows too. At the end of the day, the cleaner the environment, the cleaner the wrap. If I have less dirt and debris on the floor, then I've got less chances that it's going to end up on the adhesive under my films, right?
Yep.
And especially now, we're seeing a lot of these films coming with the cap sheet. It seems to be very staticky. Static central.
Ground yourself if you're pulling one of those.
Yeah.
Done that on the laminator before too.
Yeah, little things like that. Just you could have a $100 mop and bucket over here, and you could rinse out that water 4 times before you get this bay done, and now you just spent 2 hours of your time where I just walked behind the Zamboni here in 20 minutes. That whole floor is spick and span cleaner than the mop bucket because at some point you're using dirty water, right?
Yep.
Unless you're cleaning it out that much, and then you just have streaky, nasty, wet, gross floors, just not clean, just wet.
Yeah. Plus like you said,
spreading it around.
Time. I'm sure you're saving a lot of time using that.
Absolutely. We can run it in like you said, 15, 20 minutes sometimes before a car comes in, and now we got a clean floor to lay down on, and we're all happy. And then we can do it again when it leaves if we choose.
Well, even the other day, we had a dirt car in here, and dirt cars are dirty princesses, right? So
dirty.
He brings it in, and it had been kind of wet, so it left some mud, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So we're still waiting on film for this Bronco color change. That we had already pulled in the shop, and film was in transit. It should be here soon. So I'm like, well, I got a little bit of time, so I went ahead and took the Zamboni, and I went where the dirt car was, but then I went all the way around this Bronco. So we were doing the color change on it. It was just a nice clean
floors around it.
It's just a beautiful thing because with this thing, it's not going on the lift because it's a Bronco. Yeah. So we're all going to be on the floor with it a little bit.
Bronco required benches. We're not putting that thing up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. That'd put me up on the air.
Nice. All right. What is something that you believe wholeheartedly that others might disagree with?
One thing I thought about on that would be speed. I know a lot of people think that getting things done quick and fast and in and out is just the way to do it, which, that's great for profits and making money, but that's also bad because now you're probably missing things. Things are going to come back. We've had installers that we've contracted and they come in, they wham, bam, bam, and they're in and out. But then 2 days later, here's a customer calling me. Well, this is popping. This is this. And it's like, it's okay to do things fast, but, build your speed with your quality. Don't just try to do it just to try to do it and get it done. One of our policies, we hold a lot of times we may hold a vehicle an extra day just for security reasons on our end. We can check it again in the morning before it goes out, especially, I don't say our winters are terrible up here, but we do have some below freezing mornings and evenings. And, I don't necessarily want it to go out into 32 degrees as soon as we get it finished. Maybe it should sit in our 70-degree shop overnight and we can come check it and stay acclimated and then let it go. As there's other shops that are going to say, done, get out. And
as soon as they make that last cut, the door's already open and that thing's already in gear rolling out, And
that just seems like it's going to lead to issues later on. And, be upfront with your customers about that. You got to educate them. Like we said up in the earlier questions, the customers need to understand what we do is not just putting stickers on for you sometimes. Sometimes it is, but even if it's a commercial pickup truck, and I understand it's got to be at a job tomorrow. If it goes to that job tomorrow and it looks like it's failing and it looks like shit, guess what? I'm going to have to redo it, and that's going to take it off the road even more again, more times.
Yeah, that could be 2-3 more days off the road again, where customer was already complaining because they couldn't have it off the road for these 2 days that we held it in the first place. you gotta really educate them, and I think some of these other shop owners need to learn a little bit more about the adhesives and how it needs to flow and the correct temperatures and things like that.
There's data sheets online. We'll go look at them if it's a new film that we're not familiar with. We will go look it up, and it'll tell you temperatures. It'll tell you how long it's going to sit till the adhesive is I guess properly set, if it's heat activated, if it's pressure activated. These are all things that if you're just slapping film up, here's a good example. Arlon, Arlon's you can just slap that SLX up and it's fine, but you really have to heat it to get that secured bond at the end of the day. And if you don't do that, here come your edges and here come your things. And these guys just trying to get it in and out real quick. They didn't go over it with a heat gun or a torch when they were done. And now we got recesses in a van popping everywhere. We got doors popping, and it's just like, you got to pay attention. You got to understand what you're working with.
Well, and that
speed is not the number one thing sometimes.
Yes.
Well, that too, and also I feel like
speed's good, but quality.
I feel like cleaning. Cleanliness is a big thing, and that's a huge thing that I preach in our shop. The wrap's only gonna be as good as the surface is underneath, right? So I see a lot of people they neglect to clean a little bit deeper. They neglect to get the squeegee way up under those sills, So now
you're pulling dirt when you lift that film. It's pulling all that dirt's coming.
It looks like it threw a handful of sand underneath it, right? Either that or now it's not sticking here. Well, why isn't it sticking? Well, did you clean it? Oh, I think I did. What'd you do? Did you wipe the surfaces with a damp alcohol rag, or did you go behind everything and really get there and make sure there's no oils and make sure there's no
silicones? There's things that are on cars and around moving parts that you've got to really do.
And that goes back to the team member talk that we had earlier. We had a team member at one point in time, and he was just very, 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 very bad at cleaning. And his, he had worked with other shops, and his defense was always, "Ain't nobody clean in this industry. You don't got to clean. Just wipe it and go." And like, no, it don't work like that. So when customers like, "Well, what's that?" and "Why is it not sticking there?" "Oh man, it's just a wrap. It's what it does." It's like, no.
Yeah, it's just that's
like maybe your wrap's not my wrap.
That is not the answer.
Why does mine look like this and yours look like that? And we both did the exact same thing. Granted, it may have taken me 10 minutes longer, but cool. Guess what? Now I'm not redoing it because that customer is not breathing down my neck and hounding me about it. So instead of me losing 10 minutes, I'm moving on to a new job, whereas he's over here spending 2 more hours undoing and redoing for this guy to appease him, and I just did 2-3 more of the jobs. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit extra time. Clean it right, check it. Check it with heat. Let it sit if it needs to. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't push it out the door.
Oh, we love even let's say we're doing a roof wrap and it's going to be 80 degrees plus and sunny. We'll get that thing in, do it first thing in the morning. Get it outside. A lot of people are going to just call the customer, "Hey, your car's ready." No, we're going to let it sit out in the sun, let the sun do its thing for an hour or two. We're going to go check it. And then when we have looked over it and we're okay with it going, we'll call the customer at that point. And that's another thing, false expectations. Like, there's no reason to call them right here on the spot, because the next time they come, "Oh, you did it in 30 minutes last time."
Yeah, don't tell your customer this.
We've had people ride by because
it only took me 30 minutes.
They maybe had to hang out and we wrapped their hood. Yeah, it's going to take us 30 minutes to wrap the hood. It's nothing to it. But then they just ride by randomly. "Hey man, can you wrap my hood?" "Yeah, we can do it." "Well, can you do it today?" "Well, no, we got to pull a shop." "Well, it only took you 30 minutes last time." It's like, dude, it took us 30 minutes because we had you on the schedule and we were prepared for it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm sure you deal with that too.
All the time. Yeah, we just had someone the other day. It was like, "Yeah, it's just a hood and a small piece." It's like,
oh, customers, when they say small piece, that scares me.
Yeah.
Yes, this could be
the most complicated.
It's just like super intricate. "Oh, it's just a little job. It probably won't take you very long."
It was a small
Tell me a little
piece
bit more
that
about
needed
what I do.
emblems removed and 25-degree corners.
Yeah,
Going black from red.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it's little. It's easy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
That is one thing that kind of gets me is, it won't take that long. It's only a little bit of vinyl. It's like, here you go. Here's some vinyl.
The best thing to do is just cut off a little square. It's like, all right, just take this and let me know how it goes. if you mess it up, you can bring it back and drop it off, and I'll return it to you in about a week. Right?
Yeah, that's another thing that it took me a long time to learn, is just kind of like scheduling that extra time in for letting things cure and
just to watch it.
Unforeseeables.
Yeah, because there are things that can happen. It is, at the end of the day, it is a sticker, and we're putting a flat piece of something on a curved object, and there are things that can go wrong.
Yep. And then also, you guys have probably been through it of hey, you're also running a business. Like Mondays for me, I know I'm going to spend half the day on the phone or sending
emails.
Sure.
Yeah, emails, catching up. And then you got to, again, at the end of the week, you have to also kind of get things ready for that, prepare you for that on Monday too. And,
as well as appease all your Friday looky-loos. Friday seems like the day that
Friday,
people just want to call.
I don't know if people work in
reason
career on Fridays. Man, they always just show up and keep calling on Fridays, and sometimes it's overwhelming. But at the other time, we've got other help. We've got Ian now, and half those people leave with paying a deposit. So come on down.
Ian, woo!
Come on down.
Yeah, come on down. He'll entertain you, and I'm gonna keep rapping.
Yeah, we'll do what we do. He'll do that part, and you'll be on the schedule in 2 weeks.
Nice. Exactly. Yeah, we've actually recently moved to a 4-day work week.
We talked
I
about
find
doing that.
For me, it works well because I can kill it for 4 days and then have Fridays kind of when I focus on the stuff.
And Friday could always be like a rollover if you needed it to be.
Yes, and that also. I still answer the phone. All the shop calls forward to my cell phone, so I still answer that. And I'll answer emails and do design stuff, but mostly I'll focus on stuff like this on Fridays and Saturdays, and then also family stuff.
That's a good life balance too, because now wrapping is a lot of work. We all know that, and sometimes it's nice to take a little break from it. And summertime, you got a nice day, you can go do something, go to the lake, go to the beach.
Yeah, and then I got one installer, and he's got 2 kids. So I always make sure hey, because yesterday we left. I picked him up at 6 a.m. We didn't get home till 12, and that's a Saturday.
We know those days.
But it kind of makes up for all the other weeks. You get the 3-day weekend every week. So you still have that time with your family. But when it comes down to it, it's he's there with me. So
that's good. You got some good help.
Yeah.
And that's how we are. We've got good help, and everybody understands that we do have our personal lives outside of this, and things do happen. So we got to keep those windows open there. The availability, because I've got 2 young kids. Who's to say that one of them gets sick at school? Mama's at work too. That
actually happened. The other day, and Barett had to leave at middle of the day on a Thursday, and
it was about 1 o'clock. And
pick up his kid. No, it's a Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. I had to leave at 1 o'clock, and I was not prepared for it. It wasn't on my schedule. We had a networking event that night, so we were planning just to work through and then go straight there all together as a team. So I ended up picking up my little man, taking him home, taking care of him. And then when Mama got off work, she came home. Then she took over. And then I went to the networking event. We did that. It was, one of those things where, you got to plan for those unforeseens that you can't plan for, really.
Expect the unexpected.
Yep, definitely. All right. So when you guys feel overwhelmed or unfocused, what steps do you take to refocus?
Get out of the shop. If we're butting heads, if we're butting heads or just nothing's going right, we'll go take a break. We'll go sit outside. Go do something. Go drink a beer.
Drive around the block. I love to drive, and I love my truck. So sometimes I'll just go get my truck,
put the windows
drive around
down,
the block, and go. Go buy a Red Bull or something, and just take a load off. Crank the music. Slam the throttle down for a minute and just listen to the pipes. And then. Breathe, come back in. Our shop also has no windows, so when we're in here, you kind of lose sight and track of what's going on in the world around you. You're not looking at a clock. You can't see the sunshine. You don't know if it's light, dark, rain. Who knows?
Sometimes it's nice just to step outside, especially we got beautiful weather. Like today is going to be it's going to be in the 60s and sunshine. Middle of the day,
I can't tell.
Just middle of the day, step out of the shop and just sit outside for a minute. Like you said, drink your Red Bull and hang out. Or if it's a Friday or something, we may cut out early and go sit somewhere and drink a beer or something. To kind of regroup our thoughts for the next part of the week or the next part of the job, and that might mean us coming in tomorrow on Saturday to do it.
Yeah.
we've had those.
You gotta clear your mind sometimes, and
we've had those.
Otherwise, you're going to focus. You're going to focus on the same little issue for the next bit, and it's going to kill you, and you're going to hurt your brain and your whole mindset for the rest of that job after that, unless you just stop, think about it. Like me and him, we would go. Sometimes it'd be towards the end of the day, let's say, and we might go sit and have a happy hour, and we've taken pictures of the bumper or whatever, and now we're trying to figure out while we're sitting there drinking a beer, what is the best approach to make this thing work? Because it didn't work that way, and then so now we start planning inlays and overlays, and
instead of sitting there and throwing material and time at it, get out. At this point, we're like, well, we're probably coming here tomorrow. At this point, we're going to take so much time here, so let's go out.
I'm not touching that bumper again.
Drink the beer. Stop wasting time and material here. Refocus our energy, our mental energy on it. Come back tomorrow with a fresh approach.
And then it usually goes.
It usually goes one time.
2 hours later, we're done
perfectly, and we're like, damn, we should have just done that in the first place.
Yeah, 2 hours later, it's done instead of doing it, rewrapping it, redoing it, and it's just like wasting time, materials. Like if we just would have thought about it in the first place in this way, but you get overwhelmed, and you're just trying to get done sometimes, and it's the light at the end of the tunnel sometimes, and that's where that part becomes the most pain, and that's just. That hurts.
Yeah, we don't have a loft bar like Miller over here. So.
Yeah.
we got to go out and get ours.
Upstairs.
He's got a nice.
I'm sure he steps up many a time when he gets overwhelmed.
Yeah,
I would.
Oh yeah.
It's good to have a place like that.
Absolutely.
The change of scenery, just kind of refocus.
Yeah.
I've never noticed. We covered up our windows that are on the shop side recently, and I've never noticed how much of a difference it makes when you can't see outside. Like just mentally, weird. It's completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, you lose track of everything. Like I'll be in here. It's 10:30 in the morning. Going to town, not really paying attention. Music's playing, so you're not even listening to it. It's just there, and all of a sudden you look down at the clock. It's 3:30, and you're like, "Oh God, I didn't eat lunch." It's like no wonder my gut's rumbling over here.
Yeah, it's good to see like the sunlight.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It really.
Man, we have some of those, especially
and walk, outside just for a minute.
Wintertime is hard. Like you're coming in, showing up 7 a.m. It's dark, and working through to 5:30. You open the shop door and it's still dark. It's like, damn, did we even have sunlight today?
Yeah. 30 days a night over here. Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Charlotte, so I know about the seasons you get.
Yeah.
Now in
Florida,
Florida,
our area then.
Yeah, we don't really get seasons here too much.
Yeah. But you get one nice season all year round though, so.
Pretty much. Actually, what's supposed to be winter is actually really nice because it'll hang out around 70 for about a month. Oh. It's perfect. 70, sunshine,
I'm
rain never.
Jealous.
Yeah, you don't get the rain that lasts for a month. It'll rain for a day and then it'll be done. Maybe 2 or 3 days, but then you get sun back.
Oh, we had
we're in that South Carolina rainy season right now.
Yeah.
Well, it was like nearly 80 degrees this week, and then yesterday was 48 and raining. That's quite a change.
It was like 40. It was like I think we saw like 50, maybe 51.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, big things down here.
That was not fun.
Yeah, you do start to miss winter though.
Spring. Yeah.
You do start to miss it, even the Charlotte winters where you don't get snow, you only get ice.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's what we get.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff.
All right. Last question. What are some habits or behaviors that positively impact your life?
I like to think that, we're very family oriented. Me and him, his kids are very involved. Like his little girl always wants to come to the shop and see what we're working on. And she likes little sticker books and activity stuff like that. And, he's got his, we have our trucks wrapped and he's got his wife's car wrapped, and, anywhere we go, we park the 3 of those next to each other, and it looks cool, and people talk to us about it, and it's fun being passionate about it because it gives us a conversation piece, with them as well, and then also the fact that his wife's got something cool to drive, and his kids have cool cars to ride in, and what is Charlie's always saying, "Daddy's purple truck." I want to ride Daddy's purple truck.
He loves Daddy's purple truck. Oh man, yeah, but those little things like that, just little things, just seeing. Just the look on someone's face when you pull up and they're like, whoa, what is
What is
that?
that?
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's
a wrap.
A truck or something. Yeah. But having my kids grow up under this and seeing this, and seeing a trade as opposed to dad graduated college and sits at a desk. He went and learned to do something with his hands, and became very passionate about it, and they see that, and she like
she loves it.
She loves to be around the shop and up here because we keep popsicles and little toys and stuff for her, and
I'll get ride the big dump truck and all that fun stuff. So
she brings up her little scooter and bikes and stuff, and she'll put scraps and stickers on them, and it's just a lot of fun.
Ride them around the shop, ride around the stools, our little stools, our little shop stools. She'll ride around those stuff that we would have been doing at that age too, or still do sometimes.
Yeah, so that age. But even something that you don't think so much about. Patience. I've learned a lot more patience with this industry because, backtracking to where Blake was talking about rushing things, slow and steady wins the race in this business sometimes. And not saying that you want to drag ass and be behind and be the.
You don't want to hold on for 30 days when you could have done it in a day and a half, but you don't want to do it in one day when it's going to take you a day and a half.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Know you got to know what you're going to do. Know what you need to do.
Yeah, exactly. But the application side has taught me a lot of patience. Relax, keep the film relaxed. It's also, you think about that with your life, keep your mind relaxed, keep your whole body relaxed. You see tension, on the edge of the vinyl fails and it pops. Tension in your life fails and things go wrong. They go south, they pop, right? So small little things like that. Patience is, a huge thing. When people always ask me, like, how would you approach this? What would you do? It's like, have some patience, just take your time, don't sit there and rush it, study it for a second, and then look at it, figure out where you want to go, and then use that mental focus to drive it in that direction, as opposed to just letting it drive you. And then you stress about it, and then you fight it, and then you're angry, you're unhappy, and then you make bad cuts, or you overstretch, or,
start letting personal things get into your work. You don't want to let that translate. You need a good balance and a good healthy balance. And
the mental relaxation as much as the physical relaxation is key. But I had to learn that. It was a hard thing to learn, and also with that,
when
still
we
learning
first started,
still learning how to practice it.
It was always just constantly, we were just trying to work, and we weren't, we were working every weekend. We were working till 9-10 o'clock sometimes. We're up at 7 at the shop, and then we're not leaving till dark, even in the summertime. And that's hard, and that starts taking a toll on you. And now when later we realize you don't have to work. I mean, yes, you have to work that hard, but you don't need to be constantly booked every single day to be successful. You need to take the right jobs, profit correctly, and then take time. Take your Friday afternoon and go to the lake with your family, or go hang out with some friends, or just get out of the shop. Just spend your weekend not there.
Just do by don't, right?
Because we did this really big project right after first of the year this year, and it was so big, time consuming. Like, we literally would pull it in, and it would take up so much space. We had to work on it while it was there. We had a couple months to do it, but we could only work on it days at a time because we had that bay with other trucks.
Three installments. We did 3 weeks, 3 separate weeks that we pulled it in and did parts of it, and then we pull it back out.
And we worked every damn weekend of January and February of this year, and after that we told ourselves, like, we've got to not do that this summer.
Well, it was one of those things. It barely fit in the shop, so our thing was like, let's get up
work
here,
on it while you can.
Work on it as much as we can, because moving it in and out every day was not an option.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had 3 inches on each side of the tires.
I think you're being positive.
If you were dead center.
If you're dead center, yeah. So we're talking maybe 1.5 inches on this side and 2 inches or 3 inches on this side, and
monster truck
see out of it. It was a cool project. So it was worth all the all the time and the weekends and the nights we stayed up there to get.
But it went smooth for what it is. For being a.
It was just a lot.
For being a beast that we would have never ever been able to tackle in maybe even 3 years ago. The approach that we took with it, and the learned habits from the past mistakes really drove that one in a good positive direction.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
Those little things,
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, it's been an hour now. We went through the questions. It was awesome talking to you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad we got to be on here.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see the next ones whenever you have some other cool people that we know from the industry. It's always fun to watch these.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I plan on kind of mixing it up a little bit. This is going to be one series, and
cool.
Just look forward to putting out some good information and seeing where this goes.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, we appreciate your time as well. And this beautiful Easter Sunday, let's go eat some food and have some fun and do some family things, right?
Definitely.
Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
Easter egg hunt. Yeah. Hey, we dyed the eggs last night. Now let's go hide them, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep.
Exactly.
It's that time.
All right, gentlemen. It was good talking to you. You guys have a great evening.
Yes, sir. You too. Appreciate you.
See ya.